subscribe to our YouTube channel, Joy Learning TV.
Hello viewers, I'm so excited to interact with you today. I'm your facilitator, Anita Asare, for Social Studies BS7. I'm sure you are ready for the lesson. I'm so excited. You have called most of your friends to watch Joy Learning on Joy Learning TV. Right. Today, our topic for today is population. Population. Remember, last time we talked about population, so we are going to continue with it. I'm sure you are excited to see me, as I'm also excited to visit you in your homes, your offices, as you visit your daddies in the offices and you are there watching me in the marketplaces and wherever. I'm so excited. Right. For today, our strand is family life. Family life. I'm so excited when I'm teaching Form 1, yes, because some of you are confused with a new subject, even though you have done a little of it in Basic 6. It's so new to you, but I want you to understand that social studies is so interesting and so lovely to learn. You can see the way I'm relaxed and as I flow with you. So, our substrand is effects of population. Effects of population. Right. Before we continue, you remember we talked about population. We discussed what population was. And then we talked about the types of population. But we still have to go back and refreshen our minds again on what is actually population. So we call this relevance, previous knowledge. So what's the relevance, previous knowledge on population? What is population? And then explain the following. That is population growth and birth rates. Right. Answers to the review questions. Yes, I'm sure you are paying attention. I can see that you are paying attention and you are watching. And if possible, take down your notepads, as I always prompt you to do, and write down some of the review answers to the question. Population. It refers to the number of people living in a specific geographical area at a specific time. So where you are right now and the people around you is the geographic area at that particular time. The number of people there is the population. The moment you move from there and go to another place, you add up to the population there. Are you okay with me? Right. Let's go to the next one, which is birth rates. Birth rates. This is the number of births per 1,000 of the population. Remember, when I taught last, I showed you a picture of newly born babies. So they have added up to the birth rates. Okay, so if it increases, there will be high population growth. And if the birth rate reduces, that will be death rates. Then there will be low population. But we pray that people shouldn't die. But that's what God has said. It's inevitable. But then we pray that more people will live longer. Yes, live longer. But the birth rate too, we must minimize it a little so that you don't give birth more than 10. Once you are educated, you are learning social studies. In the near future, when you grow up and you are married and you want to give birth, you will do what? Give birth maybe 2, 3, and that's it. If possible, 2. Then you can take good care of them too. Right. Now, our indicators for today. The topic, effects of population. Our indicators. And exemplars. After the lesson or after learning this substrand, you viewers, my lovely viewers, will be able to 1. State and explain the effects of rapid population growth on the community in which you find yourself. And again, the nation. The effect on the nation. When there's too much people in a container or in a vehicle, what happens? See that somebody will be saying, hey, do you remember some of the school buses you joined after school? what happens? Some of you will be saying, you are squeezing me, you are doing this because you are too much for the vehicle anyway. The second point is identify some of the social problems connected with high population growth in the Ghanaian community. So anything population has effects in your room, in your household. If there's one tap in the house and lots of people are using, what happens? Sometimes you see a little bit of fight here and there, you know, but no, you have to be tolerant. Social studies tells us that we should be tolerant, right? So on the indicators, list some of the negative effects of rapid population growth on development of Ghana. And 4, list several ways by which rapid population growth can be reduced. We'll learn about it, how we can reduce it. Right. We are going to flip through the key words for today, the words that we are going to come across as we learn. The first word is what? Effects. Effects. Measures. And family. Overpopulation. You've heard that word before, the previous lesson. Population. You heard it before. Migration. Pressure. Government policies. Government policies. Child health. Child health. Juvenile. Juvenile. Social amenities. And Kosciuszko. Kosciuszko. When we say Kosciuszko, it's a name given to, it's a Ghanaian name. But the real English name, I'll find out and come and tell you next week. I think it's someone with a protruding stomach, and the doctors will be able to tell their medical name for that. But in Ghana, we call it Kosciuszko. I'm sure you've heard of the name before, or you've seen somebody with a protruding belly. You don't have to laugh at the person. It's a sickness, right? Look at the pictures. Some of you are excited. You thought we are coming to show cartoons. No, but this is a picture depicting what? Population. So you can see yourself there. You can see your head teacher there. You can see myself here. And you too, you are there. Your cousins, everybody makes up the population of a geographical area. So we are looking at the effects of this number of people at a particular place at a particular time. That's another picture on your screen. Yes, so you can see a lot of people there. So this population, it's possible we can say overpopulation, because there's a little bit of space there for people to walk, and the whole place is crowded with human beings and vehicles. But we are talking about population in terms of human beings. Somebody may ask, so can animals also have a population? Yes. Anything that is living or anything that's an object is part of population. But normally, we talk about human population. That's the population itself. Remember, recently there was housing. They added housing to it. So they were counting the number of houses that were in Ghana. So they said census, human, and housing population. But today, we are just discussing human. That's population on human beings. Now, let's look at the effects on the community. 1, it brings about pressure on social amenities. There is pressure on social amenities such as what? Water, housing, schools, food, and transportation. Why do we say this? I earlier on said that when you are living in a house with a lot of people called tenants, and there's only one tap running in the household, what happens? And maybe for 2 or 3 days, the water was not running, and now it's open, and people are rushing there. What happens? It ends up in what? Little bit of what? Exchange of words. But you shouldn't do that. You should tolerate. Definitely, it will get your time. Because some of them think that the tap will be closed, and they will not get the water. So they have to fight before they get the water. But that is not right. Wait till your turn, and you get right. Let's look at the picture here. Picture showing pressure on social amenities. So a lot of people, there's no water, so they have to move somewhere to get the water, or in the house. So everybody is stranded. Water is life, you know. So everybody wants it. So there's pressure on it. How can this one tap serve all these people? When it gets your turn and you don't get, then you have to get back home. So these are some of the effects. Another one, another pressure on social amenities. Look at the way buildings are put together here. Lots of people want to live at one particular area. So there's pressure in the rooms. Maybe 10 people in a room, 8. Somebody is saying, hey, yes, that's true. When you come out from your house, you are blessed to be 3 and 4 in your home. Some people are 10 and 12 in rooms, and they find themselves very uncomfortable. But what can they do? That is the pressure on the amenity. So if people are living in a place like this and there's one public toilet, what happens? You see people coming out because they can't wait, so they start defecating around. So that place turns into a slum. Are you okay? Right. So yes, in our classrooms, what happens? Overpopulation. The students are more than the desks, so there's pressure in the class. There's no air. The teacher finds it very difficult to teach because there are more people than the class, and also more people than the desks. And if possible, even textbooks. So the effect is that there is pressure on these stationery in the classroom. The same picture again. So you can see that the students are not comfortable at all. But what can they do? These are some of the effects. Look at this. People striving for food. People striving for food. Some of the effects. So there's no food, and the van or vehicle has come to give aid to the people, and lots of people. But I'm sure they will be able to serve all of them before each and everyone goes home. So these are some of the effects. If there's no food in the community, what happens? The little that comes, everybody rushes for it. I remember a time in the 80s, yes, there was no food. People had to queue. My grandmother has to go in and queue for bread before she can bring a loaf of bread to the house. So there was pressure on us, in the home, because when the bread, they'll cut small and give you, and you will not be okay. But then you have to take it like that. So, but thank God now you can get bread all over. All over. You see it. Remember those days, even to get a bottle of Coke, when maybe your auntie or your daddy was marrying those times, you have to go to Coca-Cola company to go and write before they will sign and give you only 2 crates of what? Coca-Cola. But today you have all kinds of drinks around. So that means that we are improving. We are improving. Ghana is doing very well. Some people do not agree with me, but then to me, I'm looking at that time and now, and I see that there's a headway. Now let's look at this picture on our screen again. You can see people struggling for vehicle. Yes, those days, this time you don't see a lot of vehicles on the street, but those times when the car stops, yes, I'm sure your daddy is telling you that it's true. What the woman is saying, the teacher is saying is true. You could see people rushing for the vehicle, because if that bus or that trotro leaves, you are doomed. You'll be there till the following morning. But now things have changed. So effects of what? Population, a lot of people on the community and then on the nation too. The same picture. Some people have even fallen down. They are struggling for the bus because when they don't get a seat, people are jumping through the windows to join the vehicle because they've seen that the narrow gates to that gives permission to enter the vehicle. It's small and everybody is crowded there. So people have to jump through the windows, which is not right. Right. Let's look at this vehicle too. A lot of people in the vehicle moving from one place to another, because look at where some people are hanging, standing, or in others, which is not right. Because these are all what? Effects of population on the community and also on the nation. And it also brings about unemployment. And a lot of people, one job, how many people can do it? Only one person. But if there are more people, then what happens? There will be unemployment. Now let's look at the effects. So the first one was effect of population. Now we are looking at the effect of population on the community in which you find yourself, where you stay, and then your environs. There is development of slum in the community, leading to creation of other environmental problems such as epidemics. Yes, when people are in a place where they are crowded, when there's an outbreak, it affects everybody very fast. Are you okay with that? Right. So that's the first effect. It's what? Develops what? Slums. 2, there is dwindling capacity of local institutions to meet the need of the growing population adequately. That is, a local institution becomes smaller in number and insufficient. So let's say, for example, you have an organization or a school, and you're supposed to take, and the school is from class 1 to 6, that's basic 1 to 6, and you're supposed to take only 6 teachers, and you open for nomination and 200 teachers came. How many people will be taken? Only 6. So you see it. So when the people are more, it's what? That's what? It dwindles the capacity of what? The institution to meet the needed growing population of the people who have come for what? The appointment. They can't take it because they need just a few people. Right. Let's look at this picture. That's a picture of a slum. Can you mention a slum in Accra, in Kumasi, or in Takoradi? Yes, there are slums all over in Ghana. Why has it happened like that? Especially in the regional capitals, because most people want to migrate from their villages and towns to come and reside in Accra to work. So when they come and then they are not able to get places where they want to stay, they start creating what? Slums. And it's so bad to see slums in capital cities. That's another picture. So when there are more people and there's more pressure, this is how the community becomes. Filthy, drains not cleared, people defecate. You can see the children, they go down, they defecate there, and they go back to their homes. I'm very sure they did not even wash their hands. And so that's how the epidemic comes. So we can have the cholera and others. That's another interesting picture. Yes, that's also a slum. Some of you watching can identify the place, but this slum is right here in Ghana. Because you can see the schoolboy walking on a bridge, and then they've made it into their various homes. Wonderful. That's great and nice. But when I say nice in terms that we should not be living in a filthy environment like this. But population, the people are much, and the pressure, the bathhouses and the toilets are less. So what happens? The gutters are not done, so everybody pours. But they shouldn't pour rubbish and things into the gutters for it to turn into a place like this. I'm sure this place will breed a lot of mosquitoes and end up biting the people in the community, and then they end up doing what? Getting the disease malaria. Look at that. So somebody living in a community like this and will end up having a disease or an epidemic called cholera. Yes, we are fortunate of late, we are not hearing of it because of the hand washing. When the COVID came, everybody is washing their hands, so it has calmed down. But then, cholera is a killer. Just like malaria, it's a killer. So if you make your community like this, what happens? You end up in the hospital bed and you say population. But then you have to keep your environment clean too. So that's a little boy suffering from cholera. Now let's look at the effects at the national level. Let's look at the effects at the national level. Well, we talked about the effects on the community. And so now we are talking about the effects at the national level. So the whole country, Ghana as a whole, there will be pressure on the nation's inadequate resources, since the resources of the nation, such as agricultural resources, oil, and others, are not adequate to meet the needs of the fast-growing people. So let's say, for example, the whole Ghana, if the population is so huge, and then the people, the farmers who farm and bring their produce to the various markets are not able to suffice the people, what happens? Let me give you a scenario. In your home, in home A, there are 4 people, daddy, mommy, and 2 children. Home B, there are 8 people, dada, auntie, kweku, menu, and other siblings and other cousins. And they all have to eat a 5 kilogram of what? Rice. Which house's rice will get finished in time? Yes, you are right. House B, because they will eat 1 bag of 5 kg rice within a day. But house A may eat that for, let's say, 3 days. You see, so when the pressure is too much, what happens? The resources will not be enough for the people, to cater for the people. So that's what we are saying, that at the national level, the pressure on it, the pressure of the resources will not be enough for the people to meet the need of the fast-growing population. Point number 2. There is depletion of the nation's resources at a fast-growing rate. Example, the forest is depleted to get timber for furniture in the classroom. Now, remember the picture we saw earlier on. The classroom was choked with a lot of students and less stable. So what happens? Then the forest must be depleted to get what? Timber to the factory, then from the factory to the carpenter. So the carpenter can do what? Can make more tables and chairs for students to sit on. So that's the forest for you, the nation's natural resources, the forest being depleted. You can see that actually when you look at the frontage, you could see that all those places were green, but now it's all been depleted. It fell all the trees. And so gradually it goes and it goes and it goes and goes. And one day there will be no tree again at all. So population actually puts pressure on the nation. So these are some of the effects of, you can read more textbooks and it will tell you more about it. Point number 3, there is low per capita income due to the large number of people produced through rapid population growth. Lower per capita income directly leads to low standard of living. Again, it leads to rural-urban migration. Effect of population on the nation. It leads to rural-urban migration. I told you earlier on that people will be traveling from towns and villages to the center, regional capital of some of the regions. And that's when it happens like that, it is rural-urban migration. Again, it leads to the emergence of criminal activities. Yes, when there are more people, all those who have migrated from other places, when they converge and there's no job, what happens? They start planning. Can I go and steal Mr. A? Mr. A has gone to work. Let me go and steal his things. Can I go to this person's farm, shop, and go and take some of her goods, which is not right. So that's what happens to the nation when there is what? Overpopulation or population growth. Again, it leads to low standard of living. Low standard of living. Now, let's look at a list or identify some of the social problems connected with rapid population growth in Ghana. That is the Ghanaian community. Let's look at the problems associated with the youth. You especially. So we are looking at that. Identify some of the social problems connected with rapid population growth in the Ghanaian community, especially the youth. 1. Juvenile delinquencies. Mofra bonisem. So 1 is the youth or people with unacceptable behaviors. When we talk about juvenile delinquencies, we are talking about unacceptable behaviors by the youth. So sometimes you used to say If when you do something that is not right, they will tell you that you are taking you to the Bostal Institute. That's a Mofraboni school. So because you have what juvenile behaviors. So these are some of the problems associated with the youth when there is what rapid population growth in the home, family. I should even talk about the family first. When you're too much and mommy and daddy cannot control, then the children must go to the streets. So parents, please, let's try to, despite all the problems, let's try to hold up our children and help them to have acceptable behaviors. Then 2, substance abuse or drug abuse on the youth. Young people will be abusing drugs such as cocaine, marijuana, and alcohol, and others. I don't know much about that, but I know some of you know some of the things. I don't want to tell you some of the things some of you have been telling me when I'm teaching a class. Some say, let me say a little, some say they pour glue on kapok and mix it with alcohol. You are killing yourself. It's not right for them. And then they mention some of the drinks they sell on the streets. You know it's not right for you, so you don't have to drink it at all. Because when you do that, you are abusing the drink and you are abusing the drug. Some pour other things on paracetamol and others, which is not right. Because when you do that, it's a problem and then you face it alone. Now, let's look at the next point. Teenage pregnancy is also a problem associated with the youth. Children below the ages of 20 will be having pregnancies or will get pregnant. And then it's also a problem because when they are living in places like the slums and things, there is no control, they end up being what? Lured by elderly men or even their peers, and then they get them pregnant. Then early marriages. Children also will be marrying at the wrong age. That is, they'll be marrying too early at the age of 16. 16 years, what do you know about marriage? But because of what? The rapid population growth, the effects of it on the youth, this is where most young girls and even young boys find themselves. Because if the young boy and the young girl does that, that young boy also becomes a father who is not working and cannot take care of the young girl. So it is a big problem. Good. We are still looking at some of the problems. So some M is what? Poverty. High rates of employment, poor education, sexually transmitted diseases, that is HIV, AIDS, and inadequate medical care. So these are some of the problems connected with rapid population growth. I'm just giving you a few seconds to write poverty, high rates of employment, poor education, sexually transmitted diseases such as HIV, AIDS, inadequate medical care, and malnutrition. Then, again, we have finished with problems associated with the youth. Now we are going to the family. Sexual promiscuity. People will not be able or will not be faithful to their partners. They will be flirting with other for money. Yes, when it happens like that, there's a big problem in the family. See that you can see a mother trying to be funny somewhere, and sometimes you can see your brother or elder sister trying to be funny somewhere because there is no money to cater for them. And all this is because of what? Poverty. So that's the effect on the family. Then poverty. Families will be poor since parents have to take care of more people. When the people are more in the home, and then there should be more money will be spent, and at the end of the day, they become what? Poor. Broken homes. There will be plenty of divorce cases, as poor married couples will always be blaming each other for leading this and this leading to what? Broken homes. Mommy says there's no money. Daddy says there's no money. So what does the family do? Then there will be problems. And so because there's misunderstanding, then it ends up that the marriage should be dissolved. And at the end of the day, it affects the family. As they do that, it affects the family. The children will not be able to tell the parents what they go through, but it affects them. So this is what happens when there's a population affects the family. Then again, malnutrition. The family will be poorly fed, and this will end up in diseases, as we mentioned in our keywords. Kwashiorkor, the child will not be getting balanced diet, and so the child will be malnourished. Right. So we are looking at the negative effects of rapid population growth on the development of Ghana. The negative effects. So one of the negative effects is that there is environmental pollution. 2, poverty. Proliferation of slums. That slums spring out. Then pressure on social amenities. I hope we have said this already. I've explained them already. Yes, again, we have inadequate medical care. Yes, when the people are more and the hospital or the clinic is small with little facility, there's pressure on the hospital. You go there, see a lot of patients, one doctor. What happened? Pressure on the hospital. Pressure on natural resources or high cost of land. We explained that natural resources, when the trees are cut and then the people there, the foodstuffs there are not enough, what happens? There's starvation. High rate of unemployment. We mentioned that earlier on. Increase in crime rates. Overcrowding and congestion. I hope you are writing them down. High dependency ratio on the family. Increase in rate of what? Migration. Rural-urban migration. People moving from one place to another place just to search for jobs to do. All right. High cost of living. High government expenditure, environmental degradation, social unrests, increase in high social vices. Now let's look at these sub-points too. Ways by which rapid population growth can be reduced. So we are looking at how the rapid population growth can be reduced. This is very important because that is the answer to the overpopulation growth in Ghana. 1, abstinence from early marriages. Because when you are 16 years, by the time you are 40 years, you have given birth to over 40 children or even 38 children. So this is when individuals avoid early marriages in society. This will help reduce high birth rates, leading to reduction of rapid population growth in the country. 2, encourage girl-child education. When girls are educated, girls are able to hold themselves because they know that if I go to school and I become a nurse, I become a teacher, I become a lawyer, why then should you, and you are paid well, why then should you go around extorting money from men? You see, you would never do that. But if you don't learn hard, you end up not going to school and then you enter marriage very early. So girl-child education must be encouraged to help reduce teenage pregnancies and early marriages. Now we are looking at ways by which rapid population growth can still be reduced. Government policies. There is a need for the government to implement the national population policy to help regulate rapid population growth rates. So government should make policies, make laws, binding national population policy to regulate the rapid population growth. In some countries, they have said that you can give birth to only one child. It's a policy there. For here, I don't know. But I think people themselves have made their own policies and have decided that they will give birth to only 2 children so that they can be able to cater for them. Discouraging polygamy. We have to discourage people from marrying more than one wife. This will reduce the rapid population growth. Yes, excellent. That's good. Discouraging of polygamy. And then again, the government must create more jobs for the growing population. Excellent one day. Yes, more jobs. More jobs. And I know NACO or NAPCO or whatever, yes, they are creating. So let's pray that government will be able to create more jobs for the youth to be able to get jobs to do. Then the unmarried must abstain from premarital sex. Unmarried, the youth that are not married, you must refrain from premarital sex. So these are some of the ways by which population growth can be reduced. Then tax relief for small households. tax relief. I'm so excited here. Tax relief. Tax relief or incentive to people with low family size will encourage people to have small family size. So if those who have plenty, they will not give them, but those who have small will be given, so that it will ginger others not to give birth to a lot of people at home. So that's all that they are saying. So this is done by the GRA. They give incentives to people with low family size, just as a motivator to others not to give birth to a lot of people. Then availability of job. Availability of job through poverty alleviation and job creation will help reduce teenage pregnancy and early parenthood. Then increase gender inequality. This will help reduce teenage pregnancy, hence reduction in rapid population growth rate. So increasing gender equality. What a boy can do, a girl too can do. A girl can also go to school and get to the university just equally as the male or boy can also do. Checks on immigration. Immigration laws must be strictly applied. Limitations on immigration will help prevent illegal immigrants and reduce the rapid population growth. Yes, the borders. The border, Togo border, Ivory Coast border, entries. We have to check all those places. A lot of people do not enter Ghana. It makes the population wild. And so the little that we have will not be sufficient for us. Right. This is the most interesting part I love, and I know you love it too. Recap of the lesson. List 2 social problems associated with rapid population growth on the youth in Ghana. Yes, we just discussed it, so I know you can answer it. And then question number 2. State and explain 2 effects of rapid population growth in Ghana. So let's look at the recap questions. Just for a minute, you write them down quickly. Okay, so 45 minutes. I'm giving 45 minutes just for this. Okay. All right. I'm sure you are smarter than the 45 minutes, so we can move on again. So let's look at the answers to the recap questions. You're just recapping all that we have learned on effects on population. So 1, early marriages. Some parents give their young daughters to men to marry at early stage so that they do not take care of their girls. Most of the time, these girls do not marry the men they love. Look at that. Right. Juvenile delinquencies. Many parents and guardians cannot provide the basic needs for their children. Hence, such children, most of them, rebel against their parents and then accept gifts or accept ways of life in the society the way they want it to be, which shouldn't happen. But that's the effect of it. Question number 2. The answer to question number 2. Effects of rapid population growth in Ghana. So when we say the effect, we will take the 3. So that's how you answer it when you are answering questions in your class. Effects of rapid population growth in Ghana is as follows. So you have the effect on the family, then you have effect on the community, and then you have effects on the nation. But you are just writing about 2. So you have just highlighted all the 3. And then you pick 1. So effect on the community. The continuous reducing or dwindling capacity of local institutions to meet the needs of the growing population adequately. That is, local institutions become smaller in number and therefore insufficient. I made an explanation to that when I talked about taking a BS1 to 6 teachers and 200 people came and they need to take only 6 people. So the remaining people are in crisis. Then there is pressure on social amenities. Example, water, housing, health centers, transportation, and schools and food, etc., etc. A lot of things you can mention when there's pressure on social amenities. If there's, let's say, for example, there's one playing area like the FR Sutherland, but only one, and everybody in Ghana, all the children have to go there. What will happen there? You see that people will start suffocating, right? Then effects on the nation. So at the national level, the effects of rapid population growth include the following. Resources of the nation, such as agricultural and oil resources, are not enough to meet the needs of the fast-growing population. Then the nation's natural resources, such as the forest, is also being depleted at a faster rate due to what? The need of what? Furniture to be used and to use in the classroom, restaurants, and other places and other purposes. Yes, assignment time. It is assignment time. BS7. I know you are smart. You enjoy the lesson too. So all that we have discussed, we have to give you assignments. And for your assignments, send your answers to Joy Learning TV on YouTube. I'll be very grateful for you to do that. Last week, some of you did answer some of the questions, and you did marvelously well. Raymond, yes, you answered the question very nicely. You could see that Raymond was on target. Efua from Takrady, you also did very well. I'm encouraging most of you to do what? To answer some of the questions and send it to Joy Learning TV on YouTube. And then I will mark actually, and then send you back. So try and send your email addresses to me too on the same platform, so that we'll be able to do what? We correct you and help you to answer questions very well. And when it's time for BCE, you'll be able to get a 1 in social studies and get the school of your choice. So let's look at the assignments for today. Wow. As for the assignment time, I allow the question to be on the screen for some time so that you'll be able to write them down and then send the answers to me so that I can vet and send them to you. All right, so let's go through the question. Question number 1. List 10 negative effects of rapid population growth on the development of Ghana. 10 negative effects. Remember, we mentioned a lot of them, the negative effects. 2, examine 4 ways by which rapid population growth can be reduced in Ghana. You've written that already. Right. So send your answers to Joy Learning TV on YouTube, and I will do that for you. I'm your facilitator or teacher, Anita Asari. Hope to see you another time. Keep learning all the time. It's fun to be with Joy Learning. It's a bye-bye from me. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Joy Learning TV.